Namaskar, Namaste. Good morning, everyone. My dear students and faculty members. Today we are very lucky to have Dr. Sulekha Ramakrishnan Madam, the eminent founder of DSFI and DSAT from Chennai, India, as a resource person for today's scientific webinar on Down syndrome. And she is well known for her work as a great visionary and international iconic awardee for her love and dedication towards Down syndrome children. And on this occasion, on behalf of our RV College of Nursing and our nursing fraternity, I welcome to you, madam. Today it is selected to signify the uniqueness of the triplication, that is trisomy of the 21st chromosome, which causes Down syndrome, and World Down Syndrome Day to be observed and celebrated by persons with the Down syndrome with a significance for their families, friends, those who live and work with them, and all persons who wish to promote and ensure quality of life and human rights for all persons with Down syndrome through our community support and bringing good awareness. It is very much painful. However, it is very much painful to quote that in India, every year around 23,000 to 29,000 children are added in the list of Down syndrome. In this situation, parents need to accept the child's condition at the earliest stage and age for its early detection, early required interventions, early inclusion of consistent and vigorous interventions like exclusive breastfeeding during their early infancy, and this also helps for the growth of child's brain. And along with this, parents need to follow the evidence-based medical advice for development. Here, parents and family members need to create as well as follow an holistic environment to develop all possible abilities in their childhood rather than thinking and focusing on child's disabilities. All children, whether disabled or normal, every child have the right to proper education as they are the future citizens of India. So we do not deprive them, support them for special need of education with Sarva Shiksha Abhiyana or Samagra Shiksha Abhiyana. This year, that is 2021 year, message is connect. We need to be connected with Down syndrome children and their families to share ideas, experience, knowledge, and empower their rights as the normal stakeholders of our society during these COVID pandemic days. We need to support with good positivity and equality in them. Thank you. Jai Hind. Happy Down Syndrome Day.
I wish to welcome you all into the world of Down syndrome, which is one of the most beautiful worlds. And tomorrow is going to be our celebration time. We celebrate Mother's Day, Father's Day, but for years, nobody celebrated persons with Down syndrome till the United Nations recognized the importance of being a person with Down syndrome. To all those who are here as the future caregivers and who are going to be in charge and nursing children and adults with Down syndrome, welcome to the session. Please hear me out because it's important for you to understand what it means to have Down syndrome. Down syndrome, or trisomy 21 as it is called, is one of the most interesting subjects, but it is riddled with a lot of challenges. And you will find that you will be facing all these challenges, but I think as a caregiver, you will be able to handle it. You will find yourself sometimes caught up in this emotional triangle between the parents, the children, the grandparents, and it is for you to understand how to handle these people, because I think as the future caregivers, you are definitely going to be in charge. That when you're dealing with human emotion, as I see it, because having a child and a child with a challenge is a huge emotional disturbance, and you will be there to help them just as much as the doctors. I am not here because it is my profession. I am not here because I studied medicine or that I am a doctor. I am not a social worker. I am only a mother. And as a parent, I think the first person who actually looks after her child and nurses her child is a parent. So I was actually pushed into this field because my daughter was born with Down syndrome 40 years ago. I have worked since then tirelessly for 40 years to ease the pain of the parents, and I continue to do just that. And tomorrow, as caregivers and nurses, you will be there to wipe away the pain, to remove the pain, and to help the parents understand the situation by caring for the parents and the children. Up until the 1980s, people with Down syndrome were considered to be completely a waste. They were institutionalized, they denied the family life, friendship, education, love, and community. They were put away, and it was against the human rights. But nobody stood up and fought the system. I feel that even today, sometimes in society, if you are not aware, which I want you to be aware, is that if you don't know, you move away from there. If you don't know how to handle a person with Down syndrome, normally it is difficult to interact. This is why I want you to understand the subject and think of them as people like us. They are not something that you need to shy away from. If you see them in public, it is beautiful if you go up to them, shake their hands, look at them, and watch them. You will learn by looking and watching much more than when somebody is telling you. As a parent, I can tell you that raising a child and looking after my daughter for 40 years has been such a big eye-opener that I realized the value of these people, that they are people first, then a person with Down syndrome. And I really want you to know that. Of course, what happened 40 years ago was very different. They kept saying my child suffers from Down syndrome. That's the first thing we don't say. They are not suffering. They have a condition called Down syndrome. They do not suffer. And we have got a wrong notion by saying this child is suffering from Down syndrome. The media too sometimes writes those sentences. They say a person is suffering from Down syndrome. Please don't ever do that, because it makes them become a very pitiable part of society, which they are not. Change the language that you use. The first word that comes out of your mouth is very important to make contact with the parents and the child. You should always use the person first, the name first, and then the condition. Down syndrome is only a condition which I will explain to you so that you will understand all the importances of having a person with Down syndrome in your family. In 1981, when my daughter was born, all doctors and pediatricians would use only one word. You have a Mongol child. Now, I can understand that word because it was frequently used that you have produced a child, a Mongoloid child. I think this was because these children had slanting eyes and their features looked a lot like the Mongol people or the Chinese people. But there was an objection to this later on, and today the phrase is not used at all. We actually say persons with Down syndrome. The word Down syndrome came from a professor whose name was Langdon Down. He was a doctor who discovered the extra chromosome, and this was way back in the 1890s or close to 1900, but nobody realized it And he insisted that the children with all these features should be called persons with Down syndrome. And because there is an extra chromosome on the 21st pair, it is called trisomy 21. Now, you need to understand the significance because you will be studying all of this in your medical career. You will also understand that there will be an inclination, and you need to understand why they are called trisomy 21s. This is an important part of the whole developmental pattern because we all have 23 pairs in every cell. In those 23 pairs, which is 46 in number, because you get one from the father, one from the mother, and this creates the entire genetic pattern of an individual. Everything in our human body is a cell. Now, these cells each carry what is called a chromosome. These chromosomes in every cell will be in pairs. Now, because they are in pairs, they come from the largest to the smallest. The last one is the sex chromosome. The 21st chromosome is the smallest chromosome, but it has got such a lot of impact on the human body, and all of it is only medical. So, if you call our children mentally retarded, it is not word that is used today. We don't want to use that phrase at all because I don't think anybody likes to be called retarded. It's a very abusive word. So we have shifted from mentally retarded to mentally challenged to mentally disabled, and today we call them intellectually challenged. We do not want to use the word retarded or even mentally, because mentally has got nothing to do with this particular person. He is an individual first who has all his parameters in the right place. But because his health issues are so huge, that what happens is they are born with multiple health issues, which I will tell you one by one, so that you will identify this child with the health issues, which is very important. The chromosome number 21 is actually study of only health issues in every child. So we normally, when the child is born, a pediatrician who looks at the child will immediately tell you this child is a person with Down syndrome. And then we send the child for a karyotyping test. From the karyotyping, we understand the significance of the chromosomes. It's important that you have this paper with you, which tells you it's like your passport for this child. It's very, very important that the child has a little paper which says, yes, this child has got trisomy 21. Because without that, we are not able to actually tell you that there is a trisomy 21 or the baby has Down syndrome. I'll tell you why. Because we have a lot of babies in Manipur and in Assam and from Nepal who actually, most of them have those features. So we normally at birth, before we make the diagnosis, we have to get a paper to tell us the child has got an extra chromosome, and this is the significant thing about this child. Once you have the paper in your hand, the pediatrician is the one who announces that the baby has Down syndrome. It is not the nurse. In the UK, normally you have a midwife who will be actually giving you the complete picture. In India, we have now run away from the concept of midwives, and we have a pediatrician who breaks the news. When my daughter was born, the pediatrician looked at my daughter, and the first thing he told me was, this child is a Mongol child, take it home or put it off into an institution. She is going to be a big waste. The first thing is a shock for a parent when any doctor, anybody says your child is a waste. My friends, no child is a wasted person. Every child who is born in this universe has got a reason to be there and a right to be there. We do not use the words waste. This child cannot do anything. This child will never do this. This child has got no potential. These are words we do not use, and I want you as caregivers and the next generation nurses to understand the importance of your words. When you say something to someone, think of the impact you are making. When the doctors tell you that your child is not going to do anything, you believe the doctor. The first person we are in contact with is a doctor. And if the doctors tell us that your child will never do, we tend to believe them. And that is something that is shocking. That how can a doctor tell you your daughter will not or daughter cannot? And they actually told me, go and have more children. Leave this child. I just looked at him and I said, I don't think this is a right way of interpreting a situation, because you should have said, we will help you. We can make this child better. But when they did not say it, because I think 40 years ago, the doctors themselves were not aware. So it is about being ignorant. I don't want any of you to be ignorant. I want you to be on top of the situation, not under it. You are intelligent children. You are the next generation caregivers. Please understand that you control a situation. As a caregiver for anyone, you have to give positive vibes. You have to sit there and say, let's try this. This will work. Well, what Bubbly had, Bubbly is my daughter. She's today 40. And when she was born with bilateral cataracts. I think all of you know what a cataract is. Now, babies with cataract was something unheard of, and I don't think anybody was aware of all of this. Even the surgeon who had to do the surgery said this was the first time he was doing a surgery on a baby. And my daughter was only 2 weeks old. Well, the first surgery and the first issues that persons with Down syndrome can have is genetically they are born with some minor issues which can be rectified today. My daughter was born with cataracts. I see at least 70% of children with Down syndrome born with heart murmurs, which means they might have a hole in the heart. They might have some issues with the heart, which we suggest. And today we are saving all our babies with cardiac surgeries as soon as they are born. So we wait for the right time. Like my daughter, the surgery had to be done within 2 weeks for the first eye, within 6 weeks for the another eye, and then she had 122 times anesthesia because they couldn't check the vision. So it was like this child was constantly in hospital. In between all of this, at the age of 6 months, she developed pneumonia. That is when we realized that they have very weak respiratory organs, and their respiratory organs cause a lot of issues. Pneumonia is one of them. The others are bronchial issues, which you will also realize. When my daughter had pneumonia, I took her for the X-ray. So the Department of Radiology, which you will all know, looked at her and said, we will take the X-ray, but the child will not live till tomorrow. I looked at the radiologist and I said, why are you telling me she cannot live till tomorrow? She's alive today. So as caregivers, it is for you to inform the parents that we will look after the baby as long as the baby is with us. We're not going to give up. Okay? So I'm a mother. And imagine how I have to remain calm when the radiologist is telling me, take her home, she will die tomorrow. I said, you're not God. She will not die. You take the X-ray, but when you took the X-ray, which is what I want to tell you all, you have to hold the hands of the parents and assure them that you are there right through. Because the radiologist in those days just picked her up and put her on the tray. If she was not dead, she might have died because it was so cold. I looked at my child, and let me tell you, as the next generation nurses and caregivers, little babies also feel pain and cry. So you have to give that moral support to the entire family. And that is what we do today. We do not allow any parent to go into the operation theatre alone. We go with them, we stand with them. We have created support groups in every part of India and in the interiors also, whether it is in Coimbatore, whether it is in Manipur or anywhere, we go with them. Now, of course, because of the COVID, we are also trapped into our houses, but we travel. And we travel extensively to be with the parent at the right time. I was never in the same place for one day. The next minute I'll be with another parent because they need that caregiving. They need your hand. They want you to tell them, yes, we are with you. And that is what I was able to do. And I have created that last chain. I want you to enter that chain of caregiving. Well, my daughter came home and she lived it. She survived it. And every time they said, she has Down syndrome, so what? So what? You have cancer, you outgo it. My daughter has multiple issues, but let me know how I can handle the multiple issues. So, as caregivers and as parents, it is our job to support the parents when they are in stress. You have to understand that having a child, even when the child has got fever, have you seen the parents looking so tense? If the child has a cold, there's tension. So you, as nurses, have to be there and assure them, I will look after the baby. You take some rest. So I want you to start caring about our entire society. It doesn't matter what the issue is. Be there to join them, to enjoy their development of their baby. Well, apart from the fact that Bubbly had bilateral cataract, she had pneumonia and bronchial issues, she also had very severe thyroid issues. Persons with Down syndrome, one of the major issues is thyroid. Now, in 1981, the Department of Endocrinology had not even been opened. So I was not able to check Bubbly's thyroid levels till she was 17. When the department opened and the tests for T3, T4 and TSH came into being, and we realized that their entire body was sucked up by the thyroid organ because the fluctuation of being hypothyroid or hyperthyroid is equally bad. So today with medication at birth, we first check whether the child has got any thyroid issues and we keep the child perfect. Bubbly, because she had hypothyroid, she also had hypertonia, which is a part of being hypothyroid. So if you held Bubbly, she was like jelly. So she would collapse. And the whole body is muscles. I know you know, all of you know, because you are all doing strength training and because you're always in the gyms, you will know how exciting your bodies can and you can strengthen your muscles. Well, with these children, we have to work 24/7 to strengthen every muscle. And when I say muscles, it is not just what is obvious, what is not obvious also. Like the abdominal muscles are very, very weak. So we use therapists to strengthen the abdominal muscles so they can actually go to the toilet. Passing a stool was the most difficult thing because they were hypertonic. So we had to actually take them to the doctors to take enema every day. And Bubbly was on this program for 4 years. We never realized that it's all connected with hypertonia is a part of hypothyroid. So I am actually studying every day a new part of being Down syndrome. Well, along with this, we also realized that the doctors were not aware at that time. Today, we have a pattern and a list of tests that have to be done for our children every year. One is the thyroid, second is vision, third is hearing. Now, remember one thing, when we call a child who cannot perform, there must be some issue. So we suddenly found that maybe they were not hearing properly. So when we started doing the hearing test, which we now do at birth, the reason is because if I cannot hear, I cannot speak. So we connected all of that and said, let's take them for all the initial tests. So now we have a list that a parent has to go through so that the child is on a high performance level. The thought of going to school was completely ruled out. The reason for this was this child was different. It had multiple health issues, so the schools also could not handle it. Today, with thyroid on perfect level, vision on perfect level, hearing on perfect level, the child's bronchial infections being controlled, the heart status being perfect, this child is got an early intervention of medical time. It also receives therapy side by side with the medical intervention, and the physiotherapy and occupational therapy is given to this child as a complete package. So while all of this is going on, you will see an intelligent child growing up and having tremendous potential to be in the school just like anyone else. Today, my friends, we don't have what we call specialized schools. We want our children to be with everybody else. And yes, they might have a few minor issues, like every other child gets a fever, a cold, a cough, but we are able to adjust that, look after this child and take them back to school where they are performing absolutely very, very well. We have not had an issue. We have mild adjustments with curriculums and they are able to do very well in school. So as caregivers, once again, have a positive outlook on a particular person and don't say they will not be able to do it. You have to contribute to raising a child a holistic approach. That is, if my medical records are perfect and I am able to see very well, I am able to hear very well, I will start speaking because I also need a lot of dental care. We never realized the importance of dental care for a long time. And that is when we roped in all the dentists and made them study how important the jawline and the entire muscles of the face will make a difference to a child when it speaks. Because the teeth and the tongue, if you look at a child with Down syndrome, normally they will have a tongue thrust. We have so many exercises to control the muscles of the face so that the child looks not different, but just like you and me. In any case, I don't believe that the child looks different because looking is something in the eyes of the beholder. You and I look different to other people. My child looks just like me. She behaves like me. She has every other characteristic like mine. And it is absolutely beautiful that people who keep telling us we have an extra chromosome seem to forget the other genetic things that go with your chromosome. When you are looking at the number 21, why have you forgotten all the other chromosomes? The other chromosomes are the parameters of my behavior, my intelligence, and everything I get from my family. So, most people make a mistake of just concentrating on the 21st chromosome, not looking at the background of the family, not looking at what we have to advise. More importantly, please understand that you cannot generalize in any child in any case. No two parents are the same. No two children are the same. No two families are the same. So we create a package for every child as an individual family. I will not tell the family that is coming from a certain background, please give your child kiwi fruit. Food is very important in our life, and we have to build up the immunity. So when I look at the child and I look at the family, which is what you will have to do tomorrow, you will have to first address what is the socio-economic background of the family. Will they understand what I am saying? So don't talk big things with families that are looking at you and saying, please help us. So all you have to say is, we get vitamin C in any fruit. So you can say oranges, you can give them guava, you can give them gooseberries. You have so many amla. Why do we have to choose the most expensive fruits? So what we do is, we have released a diet and nutrition booklet. My friends, I think you should all go into my website, which will come up in the end, where you will definitely be more informative on every issue. So I try to complete everything that happens in the child's life. Because with Bubbly, I found more issues as she was growing up. So when Bubbly was 15 or 16, I thought my journey was beautiful. She had learned swimming, dance, theatre. She had done her Arangetram. And I was thinking, yes, I have raised a beautiful child. Now comes the next challenge. And I always believe He gives it to people who can face the challenge. So my next challenge was depression. Now, I went to the psychiatrist because Bubbly was showing a lot of negative behavior, crying, not eating, losing her temper, not sleeping. So sleep was a very big issue. So when I just looked at the psychiatrist and I said, she has these mood disorders, can you help me? He turned around and said, Down syndrome, this is what is expected. So I looked at him and I said, sir, she is a person first. So can you help me? Because I am not medically qualified and I cannot give her the medicine. He said, no, she doesn't need medicine. Normally we send them home because they are persons with Down syndrome. We will not be able to treat her. Now, this is the attitude that I faced. And I didn't want anyone to face that. Any of us can feel low. I think most of you as young children with the challenges that you're facing will be going through these type of parameters where sometimes you feel low, you feel that you're not able to handle things, you feel depressed, you feel sad. So the help is not there, then what would you do? So what happened was I went back to the university. I was not allowed into the university because this is a medical paper. But I insisted that the university take me in. I fought the system. I studied for 4 years. By the time my daughter was going from bad to worse, and she was actually sucked into this entire depressive mode. But I came back. I presented my paper to the psychiatrist, put her onto the medicines. Yes, I had lost 4 years. But my friends, those 4 years was so much experience for the other parents. Because of that, I was able to tell them the minute I see a child who's looking a little out of the sorts, sad as an adult or a teenager, we help them. So we have got a list of psychiatrists all over the country who are now supporting us in our endeavors, because it took me to study, release a book for them to understand the pain of a parent. Now, I want you to understand that these are crucial issues right through our lives. Our children might not be allowed in society, they might be allowed in society. But whichever way you look at it, I think it is in our hands to be a society that is absolutely tolerant of everybody. It doesn't matter who I am. The problem with us as individuals is that when we look at a person, we search for what is not there as against what is. And what is will be a bigger one than the not being there. So when you look at any person, first stop making a judgment. As a caregiver, as a student, as a nurse, it is for you not to be judgmental. Sit down, analyze the situation, study the person, study the entire person, the family background, every bit about the person you're giving love to. Because it is important that you understand that this child has got issues and how do I handle each issue at a time. So one by one, you should make a note of it, keep a book. It is very important that all of you, keep a book in your hand and make notes. It's important that you study whoever you're giving your nursing care to. It doesn't matter that it's a person with Down syndrome, it could be anybody. And I also want to tell you that don't think people with Down syndrome don't have feelings. This is a very wrong notion that people had, that they will always be happy. No, they have every type of emotion like you. Otherwise, how could my daughter have been depressed? She was sad because she wanted to be married. Now, You ask questions like, can they be married? Of course they can be married. But it is about us, not about them. So we never give her that opportunity to go out and meet a person and marry and lead a normal life. So it is for you to advise the parents and let them know how we can encourage your friendship, encourage relationships, because they're going to schools, they're going to colleges. Next, they will be at a job. And when they're at a job, they will want to know how best they can help and find a companion. So life is not difficult at all, my friends. It is about us and how we handle our lives and our situation. So each and every area, it is a solution that you have to find. Look at it not as a problem. Everybody will have problems, but there is always a solution to a problem. And I think it's very important that you people ask a lot of questions, because if you don't ask questions, we don't get any answers. And we are always sitting without questioning because we are scared that our questions might be stupid. Do you know, when I took my daughter to the USA for the first time, because in India I was not getting any information on Down syndrome, I asked them the question that can I have a complete blood transfusion, because I did not know what a chromosome was. And we did not have the advantage of your websites, net. We have no information. So even the books were not available, doctors were not available. Today, everything is available. You type it out, but there will be some confusion if you don't talk to more parents. So as caregivers, you have to sit down, analyze, study a subject, and then be able to give solutions to the parents which sound practical. Our people, that is persons with Down syndrome, do not say Down syndrome person. No, it's very abusive. It's again not allowed. You will say Bubbly has Down syndrome. You do not say Down syndrome Bubbly. You won't like it. So you say a person with Down syndrome, adult with Down syndrome. This person has Down syndrome because it's only a condition. It's not something that is a disease that you attach to yourself. Even if you have a disease, you don't like to say, I'm a cancerous person. No, I have cancer. So that's the way we have been addressing them. Today, they are all in sports, theatre, music, dance, drama, everywhere they will be. And they are enjoying their lives as much as you, but they want friends. And my request to you is that if you see somebody in the community, reach out to them, talk to them. They love to talk. They love to be with you. They love to go to a theatre. So don't shut them out of your world. They are your world. This is your life. This is the world you are entering. Congratulations to all of you. And anytime you want to talk, you are free to call me. I am open 24/7. I will solve your issues. You are going to have an amazing life with the type of university you guys are in. Education is the biggest power. And honestly, learn and use your knowledge. And always treat your adults and your teachers with a lot of respect. I bow my head to my teachers. And today, I say namaskar to all the teachers here who are here to encourage and teach you. I'm here. Thank you.